Is the US economy truly soaring, or are we missing a hidden reality? Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen claims we've achieved a soft landing, but is everything as rosy as it seems? Today, we're diving deep into the recent economic data, unveiling the truth behind the headlines. Are American workers really getting ahead, or is there more to the story? Stay tuned as we unravel the real state of the US economy. Let's jump right into Secretary Janet Yellen's optimistic view of the US economy. Yellen confidently states we've managed a soft landing, a term that signifies balancing inflation control without tipping into a recession. It sounds great, right? But what does this actually mean for us? She points to several encouraging signs. Job growth is up, wages are increasing, and unemployment rates are impressively low. On paper, these are indicators of a thriving economy. But here's where it gets interesting. Yellen attributes this success to the resilience and hard work of the American people. She also credits President Biden's policies for providing the necessary tools for economic growth. We're talking about significant legislative actions aimed at boosting infrastructure, driving private investments in key sectors like semiconductors and clean energy, and revitalizing manufacturing jobs. So far, it paints a picture of an economy that's not just recovering, but actually flourishing. But as we'll see in our next segments, the story might not be as straightforward as it appears. There are different angles and data points we need to consider to get the full picture. Moving on to a bold statement from Yellen, the victory over inflation. This is a big deal. Inflation has been a hot topic, impacting everyone's wallets. So, hearing about a victory over it should be a cause for celebration. Yellen asserts that the tough battle with rising prices is finally turning in our favor. But what's the evidence backing this up? Well, she points to data showing a slowdown in inflation rates. This means the prices of goods and services aren't climbing as fast as they were before. Plus, there's the reported wage increase. Average hourly earnings are up by more than 4%, according to the latest figures. It sounds like paychecks are getting fatter, right? But here's the catch. The official inflation rate is reported to have dropped to around 3.2%. If wages are growing faster than inflation, in theory, this should mean more purchasing power for the average American worker. It seems like a clear-cut success story. However, as we'll explore soon, these numbers might not tell the whole story. Stay tuned as we dig deeper into the data and what it really means for you. Now, let's put on our analytical hats and delve into a critical analysis of the economic data. This is where things start to get a bit more complex. Despite Yellen's optimistic claims, several experts are raising eyebrows, pointing out inconsistencies in the reported figures. First up, job data revisions. This isn't just about the number of jobs added, it's about accuracy. There have been multiple instances where job growth figures were later revised downwards. This trend suggests that the initial reports might be overly optimistic. For instance, in some months, the actual job numbers were significantly lower than the first announced figures. What does this mean? Simply put, the labor market might not be as robust as we're being led to believe. Additionally, the unchanged unemployment rate at 3.7% seems promising, but it's not all black and white. There's a notable decrease in full-time employment, which isn't reflected in this rate. Plus, a significant chunk of new jobs are in the government sector, which raises questions about the health of the private sector job market. So, while the surface-level data looks promising, a deeper dive reveals a more nuanced and potentially less optimistic economic scenario. Let's keep exploring to uncover the full story. Let's zoom in on a particularly concerning aspect: the downward revisions of job data. This is a crucial piece of the puzzle often overlooked in the big economic picture. When we first hear about job growth, it sounds like a clear indicator of a booming economy. But as we delve deeper, the story changes. Here's the deal. Over the past year, the initial job growth numbers reported each month were often revised down later. This means the actual job growth was lower than what was initially celebrated. For example, in one instance, a month's job growth was adjusted from 199,000 to just 173,000. In another, a seemingly strong report of 150,000 jobs was later corrected to a mere 5,000. These aren't just small adjustments, they're significant changes that paint a different picture of the job market. These downward revisions suggest a pattern where the economic reality isn't as rosy as it first appears. It's a red flag indicating that the labor market might be struggling more than what's being publicly acknowledged. So, when we talk about economic recovery and growth, these revisions are a critical factor to consider for a true understanding of the job market's health. Now, let's tackle the puzzle of the unchanged unemployment rate. On the surface, a steady unemployment rate of 3.7% seems like good news, right? It suggests stability and a strong job market. But there's more to this number than meets the eye. Here's the twist. Despite new jobs being added, the unemployment rate hasn't budged. This seems contradictory. How can we have job growth without a drop in unemployment? The key lies in understanding the types of jobs being added and the broader labor force dynamics. For instance, we're seeing a shift from full-time to part-time employment, which isn't reflected in the headline unemployment figure. Moreover, the labor force participation rate, the percentage of people working or actively looking for work, actually fell in December. This drop means that fewer people are in the job market, which can artificially keep the unemployment rate low. It's not just about jobs being available. It's also about who is actively seeking work. So, while the unchanged unemployment rate might appear as a sign of stability, it hides underlying changes in the job market, especially in terms of job quality and workforce participation. Next up, let's discuss a critical aspect often overlooked: government sector, job additions. It's vital to understand where job growth is happening, because it tells us a lot about the economy's health. Here's an interesting find. A significant portion of the new jobs added recently are in the government sector. Now, why does this matter? Government jobs are essential, but they don't tell the whole story. For a robust and sustainable economy, we need a strong private sector. It's the private sector that drives innovation, productivity, and, importantly, generates the tax revenue that supports public services. When job growth is primarily in the government sector, it raises questions about the health and vitality of the private sector. Furthermore, reliance on government jobs for economic growth can be a double-edged sword. These jobs are often dependent on budget allocations and policy decisions, which can fluctuate with changes in political leadership and economic priorities. So, while it's good news that people are finding employment, the nature of these jobs matters. We need to ask, is the private sector keeping pace? And what does this mean for long-term economic resilience and growth? Let's delve into a crucial topic that hits close to home for many of us. Inflation-adjusted earnings. It's great to hear about wage increases, but the real question is, are these increases keeping up with inflation? This is where the picture gets a bit complicated. Yellen mentioned that average hourly earnings have risen by over 4%, a sign that paychecks are getting bigger. However, when we adjust these earnings for inflation, the scenario changes. Remember, inflation reduces the purchasing power of money. So even if wages are rising, if inflation is rising faster, people can end up feeling like they're running in place, financially speaking. Currently, with inflation reported around 3.2%, it seems wages are just slightly outpacing inflation. But here's the catch. These figures can vary widely depending on individual circumstances and sectors. Plus, when we compare these inflation-adjusted wages to what they were a few years ago, many workers find themselves not much better off. So, while nominal wage growth is a positive sign, it's crucial to consider inflation's impact. It's about how much those wages are really worth in terms of buying power, which is the true measure of financial progress for the average worker. Finally, let's address the caution against premature celebration. It's tempting to join in the enthusiasm when hearing about economic recovery and progress. However, as we've explored, the situation is more complex than it initially appears. Yellen's announcement of a soft landing for the U.S. economy paints an optimistic picture, but diving into the details reveals a different narrative. The downward revisions in job data, the unchanged unemployment rate despite job additions, the significant portion of jobs added in the government sector, and the reality of inflation-adjusted earnings. All these factors suggest that we should approach these announcements with a measured perspective. Celebrating economic achievements is important, but it's equally vital to remain grounded in the full context of the data. It's clear that the U.S. economy is facing a mix of challenges and successes. As informed citizens, we need to look beyond the headlines and understand the nuances of these economic indicators. So, while there are certainly positive developments, let's not rush to declare victory just yet. Understanding the complexities and remaining cautious in our optimism is key to truly grasping the state of our economy. In conclusion, while there are signs of progress, the U.S. economy's story is complex and multifaceted. We've uncovered layers that challenge the initial optimistic narrative. What are your thoughts on this? Share in the comments below. And if you're keen on more insights into finance, investment, business ideas, and financial education, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for our latest updates.